Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Nicfitliving Vlogs. God, that's always like a really big mouthful to say when I say that really fast. Welcome back to my channel. For those that are following me on Instagram, you would have seen recently that I posted a matcha vegan slice. A raw vegan matcha slice. However you want to call it. And it seemed to be quite popular, and there were a couple of people that were asking me on social media for the recipe. So I've decided to show you guys how I made it. Before I get through this video, I just want to also say you'll need to use a food processor. If you don't have a food processor, then it's going to be a little bit difficult for you to make this. Alright, so for the base, you're going to need of course, some sort of lining pan where you're going to make your slice sort of thing, whatever. I have soaked some dates in here. Oh, hold on a second, I can't do this with one hand. A bowl of soaked dates. I'm going to be using 6 dates. I'm going to use half a cup of oats and half a cup of shredded coconut. So I've just popped half the cup of rolled oats in here, and I'm just going to pulse this up until it becomes like an oat flour. As you can see, it's quite fine now. Alright, so I've now chucked in my half cup of desiccated coconut. I've got my 6 soaked dates. I also forgot to mention I've chucked in there a tablespoon of coconut oil, which is kind of still in solid pieces. And I also poured in a little bit of the water that the dates were soaking in, just to give it a little bit of sweetness and a little bit of liquid to actually combine this all together. Okay, and that's what the consistency should be like. You can kind of mold it together as well, a bit like this. And that is the base. So I'm going to take all this out now and pop it into my lined pan. Okay, so noob me found out that the other tray that I was using was a little too big, so I had to change it to this one, which is perfectly fine. And all I've done here is I've popped the base down, and I started with a spatula, then I started using my hands to kind of just press it all down and make it all kind of even, but that's my base, and I'll just pop this in the fridge. Moving on to the top layer, I'm not going to even bother washing this. I'm just going to use the same container as I used for the base. I have 1 cup of soaked raw cashews, which have been soaking since last night, and that's what's going to make the top layer this creamy-like texture. And I've got here half a cup of coconut milk from the can. I've included a lot of cream in there because why not? Got 1 tablespoon of rice malt syrup, which is gonna slowly drip down. Alright, I'm gonna have to put the phone down because this is hard doing it with one hand. So I'm gonna be popping in 1 teaspoon of the matcha powder. The first time I made this, I put 1.5 teaspoons of matcha powder and it was a little bit strong. So I'm just gonna cut it back to 1 teaspoon. And then lastly, I've got 1 teaspoon of the solid coconut oil, which you can see right on the left hand side there. And I'm just going to blend this all up until it's the consistency that I like. So I'm going to blend this up in like minute intervals, and I'm just going to like I'm just going to scoop all this down the sides and make sure that it's blending fully and blending everything well, and I'll just keep blending that until I guess all these lumps kind of disappear. Because my blender isn't like top of the range or anything like that, it is going to take maybe a little bit longer to get it to the consistency that I like. Alrighty, so as you can see, my green matcha top layer is kind of like this consistency now, which is a little bit whippy. And I'm just gonna pop that on top of this, and then I'm gonna stick it in the fridge. Okay, just be warned that the topping is a little bit hard to spread because it's so sticky, but what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna cover it on top with just some desiccated coconut. Now that I've finished topping it with coconut, I'm just gonna leave it in the fridge to set overnight. Oh, sorry. It has been a day since I have popped my matcha slice in the fridge, and now I'm gonna show you guys the finished product. Okay, so this is what it actually looks like now. So the top has solidified, and I'm just gonna cut it and show you the depth of it. So I just cut the ugly part of the slice, and I'm just going to eat it. So, it's pretty good. I would also just keep this slice in the fridge, and every time you want to eat it, I guess just cut off a bit more of a slice, and you got yourself some awesome raw vegan matcha slice.